Toodaloo! What's up, everybody? Welcome in. My name is Casey. I am the Guardian Oracle 33. If you're back, returning, I'm so happy to have you. You know what's so funny is I was just about ready to go outside, and I was like, maybe this morning I'll go outside and it will be nicer out there because it was a beautiful morning. And I love the rain. Oh, I love the rainy nights. I love the rain. Granted, I am a Cancerian, like quadruple Pisces. I am very watery. I've got Scorpio in my Venus. I have a lot of water. I love the water. Somebody here with that connection. And I was going to go outside and I'm like, well, it would be nice to have clear vision, but nonetheless, I stayed inside. I'm like, it's warmer. I'll just stay in here for today. And then I'm sitting in here for like, I don't know, 7 minutes. And it just starts pouring down rain outside. I was like, oh my goodness. So with it pouring rain, I was sitting in here. I was like, oh, thank God, that I didn't go outside and bring all my cards and all my one-handed bandit here. What's up, JC? How you doing? Hello, beautiful lady. Hello, sir. Ma'am? Yes, ma'am? We used to get in trouble when we didn't want to respond to our mom or authority figure with ma'am. We would say it shitty because we could say fuck you or anything like that. It'd be smam. Whatever. Alright, so today I got the pen and the paper, and I'm just kind of seeking into these layers. I've been out here meditating and very interesting. There was a lot of hymns that came from within. And it was a very beautiful experience. So somebody could be a singer or really into singing. This card came out, and it's the number 38, which is 11. Everybody should have a number, whether it's your yes number or your, you have numbers that signify. You should tell your spirit guides, when I see this number, this is representative of this to me. Somebody here sees twos. 222, and that's their number. When I see 22, that's I'm going in the right direction, or that's a confirmation. That's how I'm manifesting these things to show up. All right, so there's many masks here, and it's like you're somebody that's very versed, very diverse, direct. So there's many layers as they all come down. I'm hearing that song, and it all falls down. What is it? I don't know who sings it. And it all falls down. Something falling down, coming down. And on here, she's got a mask. It's another face that pierces through. Okay, this is talking about the authentic self. Connecting with that authentic self, too. Somebody here is undoubtedly connecting with many layers of who they are, what they've been, akashically, that is written, that's been. And I think it's like something about the aspect of the child here, it's like peeling back the layers to this, maybe the age 38 is prominent here for somebody, 38. And it's a translucent being too, and what she's got this mask, and over here, she's got this face, somebody here of sound mind. I don't even give a shit if people think that anymore. I've been persecuted to the extent in whatever way. And I also think too that me saying that's a complex here, something that comes through the collective, that the collective is shifting through, right? Those deep remembrance of the persecution and and even things, maybe if you're not on mistake, in some ways you have been this life, and there's something in you that other people remember and know and have had, or it's something within their soul that it comes awake. And everybody, it's like when you're awakening, to me, I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but to me it really very much felt like a grieving process. 21 seems to be my number. That's so cool. Torture, understanding, like, these pieces of us. I did write Direct Descendant, channeled messages that came out so far, and I'll tell you the funny thing, I went over in the shop to just find some paper. I was like, man, if I could just find some paper, I could write, because my guides are like, get a pen and paper, get a pen and paper, and write, because I have them in my mind, but it's like another a form. It's a different way of, I'm seeing the letters come off the paper and turn into something, so it's like that fast, you know, using that manifestation technique, and really, somebody, it's within your hands, you know, it's the energy that's within. Coming forward and coming through. There's many layers of yourself that somebody's experiencing, new gifts that are arising and opening, new connections, elemental connections as well, specifically with water and fire. You know, somebody's the earth remembers your light. When you walk, the earth remembers, it smiles upon you. We talked about watchers last night in the read, and watchers that you just watched Earth or your planet, or that was your job. And, you know, I did a past life regression. In one of those lives, I was a watcher, and I was a watcher on this planet. I didn't know it was called a watcher until, you know, as of late. The hypnotherapist, she was amazing. I had such an amazing time getting to know her. Her name is Rachel. And she does amazing past life regression. It was so deep. It was amazing. And in the very first planet I went to, I get in there and it's all dark. I couldn't see anything on this planet that I was at. And I knew that I had gotten dropped off on a ship, because previous to that I could see the beings that I was with. They were tall, very, very tall, beautiful. They were so blue. Everything was blue, you know, the huge crystal in the middle of the ship. And I remember going and seeing those on other planets. We called them isotopes. And we were seeing them on other planets, but they were like these hijackers that would try to infiltrate us, putting these what we were doing and what would heal the planet, but they were in the middle of Earth, the middle of these planets, and that was our job, is to place these. And it was a very dangerous job for some reason. I don't, you know, I'd like to go back in and revisit that lifetime. So past life regression could be very prominent here, as well as RDT, rapid transformational therapy. And this is that therapy that's coming through the mind, okay, being able to subdue, right, allow somebody to slip into that state. You're holding space and energy for, you know, the divine to come through. It is through the divine and St. Dolores Cannon, in my own experience, and that's what her practice was based off of. Very beautiful. So I'm planning all of these crystals, and then the thing I know, and my son Ringo was on that ship with me. The ship was huge. It was huge, and in the middle was a huge crystal. I mean, I'm talking ginormous. And it seemed to be what powered the ship, you know, and everything was telepathic, everything was in the minds. You just felt the warm sensation, the warmth. They're very quiet. They moved almost like I wouldn't say, you wouldn't hear a footstep. There's no floor. It was very beautiful. And I feel this love, and I'm with my family, and I know they're my star families. And what was weird is when I was on that ship, I was looking at me, and I looked how I did this lifetime. And my son Ringo, who's 12, he looked like how he did. We weren't in the bodies of the beings, right? So then I know that I'm getting dropped off, and I don't know where Ringo went, if he stayed on the ship with them or not. But I remember getting dropped off, and it was sand, it was dirt, it was sand. It was like a very sandy place. And I got dropped off. You know, I would say Egypt, because I did start seeing the pyramids. I kept looking, and it was dark, and I felt so fucking alone. I felt so sad in this past life regression on this planet, you know, because I was with my star family, or these beings, and I, you know, whatever we were doing it was pure. Everything was pure. The crystals, the energy, the beings, you know, the way that they spoke, there was nothing hidden. The heart was like on the skin. Everything was another. It was complete connection, and it was for the greatest good. It was intentional, and there was other forces. It's like through the galaxies that would come. So I'm on this planet. They drop me off, and it's just me, and I can't see. And finally I start being able to move through it, and I'm flying, and there's nobody, there's not another soul around on this planet. It was just dark, and I remember being just very fucking sad and alone. And then I go to this next scene in the past life regression that I'm having, and these animals, there was a few of us, and I couldn't see my body, but when I see that, I flew, and I knew I was a mass, like big. I don't know what I was, but I was huge, you know, in the sky. And my job was, it was like a forward operating base or camp on this planet, and this planet was fucking barren. Barren. No tree. I mean, this was barren. And they had huge animals. And this was like they were doing some sort of, they were taking like some of the most strongest apex predator, but when I'm talking about lions, tigers, and bears, like vicious animals, snakes. The snakes were huge. The teeth, like these animals were, they were fucking huge. They weren't small like cats and dogs or the lions you see these days. They were ginormous, and their energy was just bred for destruction. I mean, it was to kill. They were so vicious, and what they were doing is they were breeding those genotypes, whatever that was, those genotypes, and they were placing it into a human species. But the species, they lived in tribes. Like, they were very peaceful. They were very, I see them, they have the red flap on them, you know, they on their, and the boobs were out, I can't, but they were just very peaceful. The women carried things on their heads, they all worked together, and anyways, there was this big base, and eventually, so in these other labs outside here, this is what I knew. I knew that these ferocious animals were being bred with these humans, right? So you had in this long, tall poles like the Viking days with the points on the top like a prison. And it was just a huge inner circle base, and there was cottages, and you know, where people were living and existing. And they started to bring in these other beings, right? That they were breeding into humans. That species, it was animals. They were fucking terrifying in my dream. I can tell you that. I mean, the snakes were huge. So interesting, because I wore this "Don't Tread on Me" today, and the snakes, and I've had terrible dreams about snakes. I don't know if anybody else has. There could be a reason that that's coming up, but these, and the teeth on these, it was that saber-toothed tiger, that thing that was extinct, right? That's extinct now. I mean, and some of the animals, they were mixed. They were like part, I don't even know, I'm hearing dragon, they like part something and part something else. So these animals are already like this hybrid, like souped up animals, like this, like, they were ferocious, and they were taking those genotypes from the animal and placing them into the human, okay? And they were having, so sorry guys, we cut out. So it was like this huge circle of a place with all those poles all the way around, and it was split with the fence between them, and slowly they would start to integrate and let them mingle in and around. And I knew in my soul, like, that you could just see the ferociousness, and you could feel the fear of the others. You know, it was in my consciousness at that time. I was like, this is never gonna work, and we couldn't interfere, we couldn't protect them. I wanted to protect. There was kids, there was women, there was so many just indigenous on one side of the fence, and slowly they were integrating others, and I don't know what had happened. Help, I couldn't say anything. I was not allowed to. My only job was, why? And my job was to make sure that none of them got out of this circle, 88, I say this, that none of them got out. That was my main job. And I'm in the sky, and I'm hovering over, and I'm seeing this, and that was the day. And every one of those animals, it's like they transformed into that, ate and murdered those other indigenous people that were in this camp. And then I remember just being like, I felt sad, you know, in a way. I just felt like it wasn't right. Whatever was happening wasn't right. It shouldn't have been there in that lifetime. Like, I just felt like whatever that was not right. I don't know why they were breeding that way. I wasn't a human, you know what I mean? There was rules, the rules that I had. I just knew I couldn't. I was a watcher. So somebody could resonate with being a watcher and pastime. No more, and I started to hear Chesapeake, Wichita, Kansas. But I want to spell Kansas with a C. Weird. So somebody could have a K name and somebody spells it with a C. Your name could be KC. All right. Then I heard the name Cornelia, and I also spelt that with a C. But now that I'm looking at it, it's like the K and the C are prominent. Carabine. And carabines can be used to attach something to a person's body or belaying. The carabiners. Okay, so what carabine? I don't know what the hell a carabine is then. I would imagine carabiner. Carabine. It is the hook, right? Greetings. Good morning, Patrick Douglas. Happy Friday to you. Okay, we're back on. I had to come outside. Sorry, guys. Starting to storm out here. Head back into the shop. As soon as Patrick gets on here, freaking energy overload, huh? Blowing out the energetic circuits, man. He did come in with a huge wave of energy. Huge wave. It's your other whoever keeps messaging you. You're always cutting out. Use some of that energy to realize it's your other whoever keeps messaging you. What's up, James Myers? Love, though. Alright, can everybody see and hear me? Give me some hearts, thumbs up, something. Leave me a message. Can you guys still see me? Brr, it just got really cold. Sorry, I can't type. I can't type. Can you guys hear me? So, if you can hear me, I'll finish on with this message. All's good. Thank you, brother. Good morning to you, sir. I love you, Jerry. It's like this rattle, okay? Or somebody uses something for shamanic purposes. I see this rattle here with the feather that hangs off of it. I hear transformative energy. Alright, so we're going to go to the Mystical Martian Oracle deck. This chair, it's got a mind of its own. It just keeps pulling me away. It's like an, you could feel that too, like electromagnetic force or electromagnetic field perhaps that you feel around you or pulsating through you. Yeah, we see you. My hands are wet. Yeah, guys, I love you guys. Mystical Martian Oracle. I don't know why. I don't feel like this deck was bigger. Maybe. Well, they got me digging in here for some reason. I'm just sure of it. Heart path. It's not worth pursuing a path without passion. Only uncertain vibration. Follow your heart, and you follow your heart, and you can't go wrong. Well, I don't see any other. Maybe I just remember there being more aliens in the deck. More aliens in the deck. Alright, Holy Spirit, Holy Angels. Mystical Martian Oracle deck. Channeled messages for the collective. Monroe. I don't know if that's a place, but they're showing me that again. I'm also seeing like a stream or a creek that somebody sits by. Like if you walk down to the creek, you're kind of goes down a little bit and you're hidden in there. There's something that somebody does down in here. I'm also hearing like avalanche. Avalanche. So there could have been a loss through an avalanche or like a mudslide or something that washes out like the triangle, and then you're trying to solve for whatever degrees this is. Funny, I put 22, but apex. So it's at apex, the apex of something. They're showing me this crest too, like this movement that moves up and over. You know, it does feel very. It's logically direct ascendant shamanism. Okay, 22 degrees. So 33 degrees could also be prominent here too, as far as like the Masons go, as well as the number 55. Somebody could be 55. There is something about running off of a higher genetic code or being able to access a higher percentage. So we would, I heard again, the Mystical Martian Oracle. Let's look at this. What do we need to know from here? And I'm going to read from the book. It's interesting, I did read from the book today. I was looking for a piece of paper and I found this notepad, and over there I also found a beautiful Bible, and the string was in it to a page, and it was the beginning when God made light, and it was just the very beginning. And I haven't read the Bible for a very long time. I had a very amazing person prophesy over my life. You want to talk about a demon hunter? That woman, even if it was in artifacts or old juju or voodoo, hoodoo, who knew? She was a prayer warrior, and there was a group of them, and I just think that it was just so weird. I should have died. She prayed over my life, and I put me in their prayer group. I mean, and we're talking fear. She's like a lion. She was an amazing leader at church. I went down to thank her for me. I was in there for like 2 weeks nonstop, like reconstructive surgeries on my kidney, my bladder. It was crazy. I was gonna die. I was gonna die. I was there, I had a lot of blood put into me, and there's nothing, and it was okay, so I see where they're saying, like, you could have had some sort of massive surgery too, and it's like these beings here are the ones that came and worked on you, or there's something in there. I kind of channeled something too last night about a mesh net or a stick in some ways. I'm seeing like now like a tracking device or beacon, and it's not to scare anybody, but it's like you were saved in a way, and there was advanced technology that was used on you. I was at Oregon State, the Science OHSU, Oregon Health and Science University is where I went. So that could be just prominent for somebody here. Mystical Martian Oracle deck. What do we have for the highest good of all? What do we need to know? Somebody could really, we've got 4 that come out. Bottom of the deck, we have the Blue Avians, philosophy, releasing karma, and mysticism. And that was one of the words too. I should have wrote it down. I kept hearing, because I said mystical Martian, and then I was hearing mystic. Oh, it was mystic. So there's a mystic here. The number 7 and 31. July 31st could be really prominent. July 31st could be very prominent for somebody here. It's talking about the golden ratio, numbers. 13, 21, 3, 5, 34. There's patterns here. And somebody sees these patterns in nature. It's like if you're out in nature, see, it's really drawn back to that Native American, it's a very, it's within you, okay? And these ancestors that you have too that come within your energy, they show you ways, like your eye will catch something, or the way that the wind blows, or the way that the twigs or leaves are stacked up and they go out on a path. If you're asking like, where do I go from here, or you're trying to find a piece of obsidian, somebody looks for obsidian. They're very in tune with nature. And the nature divas, okay, I'm hearing that. 31 is very, very prominent. 13, 31. It's very, that also is a 44. So that it stops there, and it becomes a master number. 44 is my number for Archangel Raphael, who is, to me, representative of the green. I see him as a huge shop vac that just sucks out all the old, Archangel Raphael. So somebody could definitely be working with that angelic, that color, the nature, the green. Very, 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 very interesting times. That's what I keep hearing. It's very interesting times. I heard you will be behooved. You will be behooved. Got the Alpha Draconians, number 3 out here. Corrupt, unethical, and cults. Okay? And it does see, like, when I'm looking at this too, like the Pope and these others, it just because their physical bodies there, it's like these deities have taken them over. Remember when there's a reason I told you about my past life regression when I was on that planet and I was a watcher, and they were breeding crazy ass fucking animals like this. They were huge, vicious. They were taking those genotypes and placing them into the genetic system, right, to stack DNA and hybrid, okay? They would be putting these genotypes that was And this is really what they are, you know. There really is two a multifaceted aspect. Some people can't see these beings, because, like I said, everything's happening at the same time. So it's like this goes deep. I'm trying to comprehend how planetarial, like, because it's energy. So, and it's shape shifts, you know, and it like moves the DNA. It can take over another body or put its consciousness in there, overriding a system. See, because this does look it's a fucking cult leader, or whatever you call it, the church. No offense to anybody, you know, it's just not from, that's not ever, I've never gotten anything from, I'm not going to say I haven't gotten anything. It just never clicked with me the way that other things do as far as being intuitive. I always felt it's like that's the thing to keep you small. Somebody here too does, they have that energy in their hands. They're able to, you know, Universal Studios. There's some crazy shit here going on. And it's like a mirage, the facade. Regaining equilibrium. It's talking about the forces of the night. Forces of the night. Those that come to steal, kill, and destroy. I'm also looking at my laptop and 13 ghosts. Do you know when they lock them in those glass cages? 13 ghosts. They lock them in there and they're fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? And I keep seeing like the doors shut on the ghost. How scary they were. Like they each were just vivid. And it, I have to rewatch that because of that thing where it all, you know, those wheels, those gears start moving, and it was the only way to like lock those ghosts up forever in the house. That could just be prominent here. Somebody could hear 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock the door. 5, 6, get your crucifix. 7, 8, stay up late. Somebody's like either seeing this or understanding like in some way you've put something away. It's locked. I have to show you guys this. I know I shouldn't touch it. Every time I touch it. See how it's in a box? See how the souls are coming up out of the water? To me, like that is representative of souls being set free. All the souls that those dark energies collapsed in or overtook, right? And it's in a glass jar, and I see the light just being stuck in there. Some things are being set free. Something could be way out in the middle of the ocean too, in a glass box like that. You know what I mean? Way down low. Something that can arise. So maybe there's a reason I showed somebody that 13 ghosts. So if you've seen that, does that not look like those glass boxes that, you know, that they put in? Great movie. What up, Slazy scumbag? Man, I feel bad even saying that name. What'd you call me? There's something here too with the talisman in the cloak. You know, somebody does wear like white and red. There's something deceiving, or there's something under that. Why is that? Because it's talking about the corrupt here, and it's the authentic self that comes through. So 38, yes, 383 could also be prominent. The mouth. That's the reverberated effect. Somebody, you have, whether you have that language, the light language or whatever it is, it's drawn back. It's something that's always been a part of you. It's something that's very ancient, that's pulled forth. Like I've been saying, when it comes to these ancient things that have come through in these readings, I'm talking about, this goes beyond like the Aladdin and the booby trap when he goes down in there and who disturbs my slumber, right? And Aladdin's allowed to get in there because it had to be somebody who, you know, was pure of heart, you know what I mean? And he passed the test, and he was just a beggar. So then this is leading me to believe, like, I want to say flames, and it shows up right on her skin, and she gets these bursts of anger, and she can make her grid go out. But even when they're in the down under, and they're saying, who's this girl, whoever the girl is that wears my mark, right, has the markings of the beast or whatever that would mean, right? I have no control over her, is what he says in there. I have no control over her. And I think that it's Rumi. Her name's Rumi, and she's the leader of the band, but she doesn't know. She spent her whole life fighting demons and didn't realize that she was part of one, and didn't want other people to know. She made it, she's seen her markings, but decided her life would never, her cause was different, and it was just the way she was. It's like a hybrid. There's just something here. 1414, as I say that, which is also this 55. They're talking about cornea, the cornea of the eye. Ringo got on a kayak the other day. We were duck hunting, and we got down because we had some birds flying in. So we got down, and we were going to try to jump them. And when Ringo came through there, and I was hoping he paid attention, because, man, it's cold as hell. And they're like, no, he hasn't made it around the bank yet. And I said, no, I know he has. And they're like, why do you think he has? Well, all of the leaves in the creek I could see were all pointing one direction, just as wide as the canoe was that he was on. So I was like, nature, and then the wind would blow. So I was like, okay, he's already passed here. I don't know why I brought that up, but there's a reason with the 55. And and I was sitting there, and I kept hearing onomatopoeia. And I think when I looked it up, it was like, it does have to do, one of the things I looked up, it did have to do with birds. And we were out there bird hunting, and I just kept hearing onomatopoeia. So maybe somebody else hears that word. Also, that would be referent to a cardinal sign, right? The cardinals, or cardinal, carnelia. Why does that name keep coming through? Maybe there's going to be something that comes through with that, the affidavit. An affidavit. All right, so there could be some sort of court proceedings, or somebody that sits in a place that really is like in this rules from the state. I don't even know. It knows you. It says far, far away, the heart path. So there's an energy that you probably vice for your time or your attention that you can connect with here. That's just for some, or some see the corruption and the occult. They're able to see cults that are within a certain dynamic, just because you see them just like this. It could be a pastor, it could be a priest, but when you look at them, you see this. And it's just that your vision, you're able to understand that. This is also representative, too, as when Christianity came in to cover up Druidism, right? Do you really think that the universe thinks that you're a dirty, filthy being and you're not loved because you're not doing X, Y, Z? Or because you're a sinner, you have to come to a certain place and go through a certain, or you're heaven or hell? Spend your whole life in fear? Do you think that's what the universe wants, that fear? When you're in fear, you're not healing, okay? You can't heal in fear. In fear. So they created, right? I heard a monstrosity. See, because Jesus was called the devil, the corrupt, because he actually did have healing. He could move things. He had it all. And it was in a physical body. And that meant something here would be corrupt, that it would no longer be able to come through. And then they took his death, his murder, right? Let's just say this murder of somebody who came here to change something forever, Why is that so prominent? And then they took that, right? And they're like, all the scriptures, and I'm not saying they're all bad, there's truths in everything. There are pieces and there are esoteric writers, people that were leaving messages behind in such a way that only those would be able to pick up on them, right? Those vibrations, those languages, somebody understands here. Even, let's just say this was in that time, okay? Because this is talking about coming to the authentic self. So many maps, many places, and many things you've seen, you've existed in, you understand that. But when you see this cult, you see it for what it is, because you were there in that day during some sort of persecution. Rulers really took over in that way and used something that was divine to pull others in. And you see a lot of it some of the biggest sinners are those that go to church. You know, they struggle to hold up an image and to live in the daily walk. You know, and it's not it. For some, it is very authentic. That's their light. That's how they found their way. That was their way. But for others, you see something different within that. Specifically, like there's an occult here that's gonna have a death, or there's a death process. Okay, something ends. It ends, and maybe that's why that light is in that box. Maybe something set free here that was encapsulated in an ancient time. It's like even if you say this box that I just showed you guys here on my computer would to have a remnant of your own soul in it from a space and time that's locked in that box, right? And this is the cult of the ruler, right? That steals the energy, that takes the energy in some way through the shamanism. I got the Galactic Federation out here, number 22 again, and I said 22 degrees. They're so funny. Look at them all in that caravan of a ship. I love you guys. They're like, good God, Casey. The Watchers, you know, and it's direct descent. And I'm looking at the Galactic Federation. It says direct descent, and it shows up in a shamanism aspect. So clarity and organization here. An organization. You're getting clarity on an organization. There's collaboratings and meetings within a community that's also taking down some sort of alpha, draconic energy. Some sort of corrupt and unethical cults nationally. But I think somebody's in a small little podunk ass town, and there is go back to what that land was, or that what see, I talked about artifacts earlier too. There's artifacts that somebody has that has these energies in it. Okay, very, very cursed energies, very dark. I'm hearing medieval, but it is a very old Celtic, dark shit. So interesting, and it's like this fucking energy lives in that. Somebody's got an artifact too. It makes them sick. It pulls on their stomach. It pulls through their stomach. As an empath, I can feel those sensations as I'm tapping into that energy. Why is that prominent here? You've got 15, the Nephilim. Controversial, assessing, and a new perspective here. The koi fish too, playing koi, like something might be appearing as something else, as something, but behind it, I heard the devil wears a suit, but behind that there's something else. Evil trying to stop light as I cut the deck, and you can't stop the light. What's meant to be, it is. But mental illness, suffering. So somebody could have an artifact or something within their house that makes them sick, or their mental illness is being questioned at this point. It says there's a loving and caring soul here to help. So somebody could have this very an attachment to like this draconic energy or whatever this culty. It's cursed, something that's been cursed, you know, in a way. And it's not just like your being, okay, because you have power over your being, you have power, but there's something that's emitting a frequency that makes somebody sick in a way. All right, tell me what we're looking at here. Starseed, number 37. This is number 38. Okay, so we have a starseed here where the mask is falling off. This is like that Christ consciousness too that comes in. It says feathers, restoration. Here, there's a starseed. Self-memories, identity. Self-memories and identity, and it's like this life's not fulfilling in whatever way. This guy's got a lot of stuff. I wonder if this isn't something that's on a bookshelf, because they're showing me one, like this little tiny being. It sits on the end, but it's like, it could be, you know, those, they're glass, and I can see it. They're like those little jokers, and they have like that, their face is glass, but they have the little hood on that looks like this. Anybody remember those? And I can see it. It's black and white, and there's something with that. It's like something that's on the shelf or on the wall. The fairest of them all. Starseed. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. My name's Casey. I'm a channeled reader. These are intuitive channeled messages. Hope you guys are having a beautiful Friday. Page 110. Okay, so January 10th could be somebody's birthday here, or a prominent date, something about the shadow self, because this is 36 and then this is 37. So it's like going from the self to the star seed. Okay, so underneath that with the mask falling. Our shadow self is a psychological and spiritual perspective regarding the aspects of ourselves that we often either deny, sometimes cannot see, or conceal from public. Every human being is a higher being. Is it? Can I? Do you mind if I? Okay. Every human being and higher being has a shadow. Blocks the enlightenment in the holistic integration. Okay, so I was talking about like this attachment life of usually resulting in projections when triggered. This is where dark entities subconsciously reside and where archons can steer and manipulate if a person is not conscious. Wow, so I said it's like somebody takes 1616, as I said, it's the 77. Somebody gets hijacked or overtaken through this consciousness. Really deep. All dark entities are merely abandoned aspects of all life. The shadow self typically emerges during early childhood and progressively manifests if not integrated. The shadow self contains anything that we were taught and judged as a small child to see as inappropriate, wrong, shameful, bad, or we were punished or rejected for, etc. What did I say about the Christ coming here and being rejected? Right? That rejection, or just like that, you know, to be shameful or come to God and come to the church, or you're rejected. If you see or you do cards, you do something different, you're rejected from that because that's not that way of thinking, and for it just does feel like something was stuck and there is this attachment or something that has grown or comes through somebody, and you are a starseed here because I see that. This entity too that has attached to the subconscious or that flashes in and out. I think this is what somebody's awakening is when you follow your heart and you're on your heart path. That's when you understand that this energy gets released because it is boxed in some way to where this aspect of yourself is being set free. The soul aspect, and it comes back to the oversoul, the greater whole, which you are working with and within you and through you. What we reject in others, in ourselves, is rejected back onto us. These conditions may have been passed onto us through our families, our schools, our communities, our culture, etc. The denial of these aspects we do not like or accept in ourselves forces those archetypal aspects of self to be repressed. It wanders not fully conscious to the self, projecting and overreacting onto others definitely what they're denying in themselves. A basic example of this could be if you angrily overreact towards another who is sincerely sad, it is highly probable you were denied and repressed your own sadness at some point. Facing and owning our shadow self aspects can be challenging, even painful so initially, and requires self-awareness, humility, and accountability while also forgiving ourselves. Shadow work is a true test of self-love. True core healing always contains huge elements of shadow work. So when you get this card, there could be something with, when we didn't get the card, there's denial and repressed fragmented feelings, triggers, shame, self-loathing, addictions, dark nights of the soul, or overreacting. There's childhood wounds and protecting something here. Because this starseed, like say, this is picked up. There's a starseed here that's really trying to break through that, but it's like, it's almost like you're just waiting for help, or if somebody's in a direction, it's like having a Pisces moon in a way. You'll kind of want to get on the bandwagon, because you're the light. You're a light, and when you're with somebody else who's going in a direction, it's easy for you to go in that direction too. Maybe you didn't have security as a child, or safety and security, and that's something too that you really struggle with here. And then it feels like there's this overactive mind that comes in, and it does feel like it has to do with some sort of shadow aspect. So meditating or really sitting with yourself, writing out like what does my soul need me to know? What am I not noticing? And then noticing within myself that's still holding me back, or that my soul's trying to bring forward. Because as much as somebody's trying to move forward, it's like they keep ending back up in the same spot. With all this water outside the window too, it's like there's a lot of emotions. It's stormy. Orbs are all right. What's up, everybody? What up, Cindy? How are you doing? it's crazy how much we'll deny stuff within our own self, you know, and then you start to see your reactions towards others, that stato's still in there. It's when you can really, not saying turn the other cheek, because it's very hard. You know, I struggle with my responses to painful situations when I feel very abandoned and hurt by others, or deliberately hurt. Like there's a part of me that didn't feel safe as a kid, you know, or deeply cared for in a way that I needed, and my emotional, you know, that I had a lot of absent parent, you know, off and on, or even if they were there, they weren't, you know, in my life, and I needed something more. So I struggled with that belonging, and the fact that things were chaotic in my life growing up. I always felt like I had this duty or sense of purpose to have to make everybody around me happy, so things would go easy, so nobody would be angry, and it would be, my soul has yearned for peace. So I'm learning that my soul yearns for peace, and it's not about being right or wrong or up and down. You know, that's what you get when you want super happiness. You feel the opposite of that, which is, you know, deep failure, in a sense of, you know, what goes up comes down. When you love somebody so much and they're gone, that grief is so overwhelming, because they say grief is a huge amount of love with nowhere to go. So the human perceives, right? Not knowing that we're always connected, and that's another sense of the self, you know, that feeling abandoned and alone. So there's a lot of that that's coming up through the collective and being released at this time. It's like you're handling things in a different way. Somebody also, you know, your house and the way that you're keeping your house, the cleanliness, the clutter, you know, that is very important. A tidy house, clarity and organization. These energies need clean vibrations, like sweep the floors, mop the floors, wipe down the counters, wipe down, you know, the window seals, Windex your windows, your mirrors, you know, go through and sweep and mop by the toilet. Like, really get in there. If you have extra towels and blankets and things that you don't really need, or unmatched socks with holes in them, get rid of them. You know, it's like, it's really minimizing. How many soap sponges? Somebody has like fucking 6 soap sponges at the sink. Like, which one are you using? Which one's shitty? Get rid of it. You know, somebody also puts water in their soap when it gets low. I don't know why I've seen that. You know, just because you're struggling and you don't have much doesn't mean we have to cling to things that you need, if that is for somebody, you know, in your area, your space. If you have to turn on some frequency sounds, some, you know, your favorite audio book, you know, get into something instead of just tarot and oracle all the time. They're great messages to come through. Now watch the synchronicities resonate and come through in the most auspicious place, like picking up a new book, right? Talking, going out and having a conversation with somebody that you normally wouldn't. There's a lot of coming to community too. You have a lot of gifts, but I think somebody here feels like they don't have anything to give, you know, but it's not that you need to give anything, you know, your time, your input, your resilience, your determination. It might just be that you're at a church handing out food bank food to interact with, you know, a spirit guide or somebody else who is part of your soul family, and you say that thing, that's that synchronicity. You don't ever underestimate where you're guided or where you're at. Like, this is a shitty spot. I fucking wish I wasn't here. I have so many. I have been doing that for months now, and I'm work in progress. I love hearing that. Stevie Wonder. I don't know why I just heard that. If anyone is worth being honest, it's James. It's oneself. Yeah, because you know what? We still live with ourself in our mind, and that aspect of ourselves. When we're sitting here and we can't just show up in one way. We really become it. We become a new sense of not maybe having so many beliefs, understanding that beliefs are things that keep people stuck, because things are always changing. Our beliefs can always change. I'm the firm believer that people can change. That's what we came here to do, is to change and to evolve into many different aspects of ourselves, go through things that would bring out shadow aspects of ourselves so we could finally see them. They could arise. There would have to be something that would break something open, especially in somebody who, you know, has had a hard path with their heart. In whatever way that is, it's letting people in. It's like you could love people, so many people, but yet you won't let them close. You know, it's because there's been a lot of the betrayal and stuff, and it's like you seeing that that's a natural human characteristics, and that there are genotypes of our ascended evolutionary descendants that are bred and hybrid and brought back in within this human race in some way, okay? Through our children, the energy that we have. If you're awakened and you have a child, your child is going to come out at a higher rate of awakening, okay? If you're going through a lot of trauma, drugs, beating, abuse while you're pregnant, you're going, your child will reflect that fearful nature. They remember. Some kids don't. Some people remember sucking on the boob, you know, being in the womb, listening to their mom, seeing their mom's face for the first time. They remember things, and it's a beautiful, and sometimes it's a curse. Just also a lot of things too with these things that come forward. You know, we always have this need to want to know and to connect. Just know that forever, you are only 1% of knowing, and will be, and 99% of not. So there's always going to be things, and because there's things that are not on your, there's not your purpose, that would take your time and your energy, and it's like we need to get out of the rabbit holes and follow the heart, because the heart is what's leading us forward on this path. I really like doing this. This makes me feel good. When I do this, I feel abundant. I feel abundant because I'm being a good person. I'm being a better person. Instead of ruining somebody's whole day with my reaction, even though I was upset, I could see where it really doesn't matter in the higher perspective of what I was learning. Be patient. Be kind, being slow to anger, right? Claudia. All right, we got star seeds. So this is the one that I was guided to read from. Okay, so we went through the shadow self, and now we're seeing this star seed energy show up. Star seeds prior to this, or other Earth incarnations, have experienced life elsewhere in the cosmos, other than Earth. Some star seeds have recall activated in their DNA. Due to Earth's limited recall access biosphere from ancient historical collective trauma, others have non-actual memories at all. All star seeds have an inkling, sensing, or knowing that this incarnation at some point originated and belongs to something somewhere far bigger. Many star seeds have an inner awareness level of consciousness development outside of the predictable mainstream narratives. Star seeds are typically spiritual in nature and have healing energies. Some are very new souls on Earth, while others are very old souls that have experienced many contracts to evolve and pass on ancient esoteric wisdom. I have goosebumps over my entire body. The newer souls will be continuing the older souls' work. Different star seeds will naturally resonate towards different aliens and galactic alliances. It is not uncommon for awakening star seeds to have dreams, memories of traveling ET crafts, or experience of UFO encounters. Star seeds are here now to assist in the transitioning and activation of the collective consciousness here on Earth. When this card comes out, it's talking about the identity of self, memory, selfhood, and me. In 38, my yes number comes out. This is the activated aware self, the authentic self that shines through this. So I would say that you are a very old soul that has remembrances, especially because 919, as I say this, you have those remembrances of being in the womb, you know where they went, you understand the flow of love and where consciousness comes from. And at some point, maybe there was some trauma that really shut something down here. Maybe you are a new soul that is a starseed. New souls, they say, come in with less karma. So they're a lot more, they're more flamboyant in their awakenings, I would say, because they have a lot more of a fearless nature. You know, the soul, when you start to remember those things, remember the bad things that have happened and where you've been murdered or in past lives or tied to something, I heard, or, you know, a loss, famine, the Holocaust. A lot of you remember wars. I have my daughter-in-law, or not my daughter-in-law, my stepdaughter, her little brother, and it's not from the same dad. He's like, we'll drive out somewhere, and he goes, oh yeah, and he didn't even know. There's no way he knew. It was the first time we'd been out there. It's an old school. He goes, hey, Mom, Case, I used to go to school right there. That was my school. We had a war here. He's like, we went to war here. That was my school. That's where all my friends were. And this kid is unreal. I mean, he is so tapped in. He is so, he's like a 44-year-old guy in a little 7-year-old, 6-year-old body. I think he's 6. His name's Liam. He's one of the most amazing characters I've ever met. And you want to know anything about an animal, where it comes from, he knows it all. It is unreal. It's unreal. And him and Cooper, they're best friends. So if you guys know my little 3-year-old, that's her buddy right there. And those two together are going to make one heck of a revolution. It's beautiful. So that recalled activated DNA, right? So it's that be able to tap into the ancient collective conscious. So they are showing me going from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age now, the age. It's like certain timelines or spheres or energy. It's like a star when it goes out. You know, very few can tap back into that, and it's only what's left of it is what's living within the memories and the DNA and those awakenings that others have. Those books, that history, not until you're in another space of that knowing, you know, you're not going to find that here on Earth. It's a very dense frequency here. It's a very dense planet. Very dense, very heavy. Our bodies are heavy. We feel heavy. I mean, if you're carrying extra weight, you know, a lot of that is too that part of that shadow aspect, the overeating, you know, wanting to see change but still making, you know, homemade fried chicken and comfort food. You know, somebody here, they really love to take care of their family, that their family is everything to them. And if their family, you know, this came out, the animal communications and animal, like somebody gets so much joy through their animals. Their animals are their living beings. And refusal of the call. Somebody's refusing to work with animals, or that's their number 13. Joy is a dance of the soul. Enjoy the moment. All right, so let's go to the animal deck and the universal deck. What's up, guys? Hi, Misa Garcia. I know a Misa. Hopefully I'm saying that right. That's how, you know, I love that name. There was only one Misa. She's amazing. The name Greenfield could be prominent here too to somebody. How does one know if they're a starseed? So if you're a starseed, you would definitely feel connection to the stars, or that you have purpose, or that you came here for something. You probably are very empathic. You hold a lot of space for love, animals, nature. You're very connected to, you probably feel very alone at some point, just very alone. You see what people do, humanity, you know, humanity would weigh really heavy on your heart, because that's the point of coming here, is in the most natural way possible through the human species to be able to open yourself up to this portal of wisdom and knowledge that comes through you. It's like walking Christ, like Christ in that day. When that energy comes through us, we're able to move from kindness, generosity, evolutionary states of just knowing, you know, they're seers. They are most likely going to be the light workers. They're brave souls. Some are just very advanced. They have very humorous energy too. I would say that the humor. If you're a starseed, I'd say you have good humor. You're witty. Laughter is important. Maybe I do feel like somebody hasn't laughed in a long time. Okay, we have 3 that come out. When a door doesn't open, don't waste your energy trying to make it open. It's closed for a reason. You are being redirected to something far bigger and better. Endings are a part of the cycle of life. They make way for wonderful new beginnings and opportunities. And you guys have to look at all things that have burned or tarnished or went away, you know, other things, especially when it comes with nature and natural elements, they are made more beautiful, you know. Beautiful things can come from that, and the reason it is so beautiful is because you've seen it so ugly. You're able to have gratitude for the ugly, for the hurt, for the pain, to be in a space to understand that it exists, and that you're able to dwell within that. Somebody here has like this complex of always wanting to make things work or come back to a certain state of being, and it's like this door is closed. For some of you, you have the whale. This is about communications here. There could be some sort of closed door of communications. Somebody denied their natural birthright of it's like they work with animals. This telepathy in some way, like somebody refused a calling, whether they got freaked out or whatever it is, or somebody used that calling in a wrong way. And I don't know what that would look like, but it would just, I heard torture. So somebody's tortured animals or done something to animals. It's like the refusal of the call. Communications. You are encouraged to communicate clearly from your heart. Bridge any gaps that are keeping you from connecting deeper with your loved ones. It is important to speak your truth with emotion, vulnerability, and power. And that's really, for some of you, specifically one, you really need to work on calling your power back when you communicate. And when you do communicate, just because you reach a resolute, like, you still stand in your power. You have to remember manipulative spirit. Somebody here's working on their discernment here. Make sure you don't start seeing yourself through the eyes of those who don't value you. You need to know your worth even when others don't. You are not what people think of you. You're not. You know, a societal norm or some sort of conformity or comfortability that somebody has. Anything else from this deck? We have the Beaver, balance. You are being told that hard work is important, but it is quality time with your loved ones. The balance between work, play, family, career must maintain for overall wholeness and success. Spirit of the Beaver. And beavers work their ass off, to build those dams. All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Let's get an overall look at current tarot through the tarot. Collective energy at this time. Anything that's important, channeled messages that want to come out. You've got two. So somebody here, you've got the Two of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. There really is a reiteration of balancing in the home. You know, bringing balance back into it. This is somebody, there's something being restored here, and my clear quartz crystal is sitting right over the top of that as I say this. Feathers. Birds of a feather flock together. These feathers are called restoration. You know, putting the past in the past. They're restoring something from the past here. And I do see trees. Like, there could be a very special tree or something that's made of trees. Somebody has a lot of wood, or their house, there's a lot of wood or trees around your house, whether it's barnwood or whatever that you have, but it's an oaky feel. I feel oak. All right, sorry guys, my phone is buffering. Hopefully it's looking pretty windy outside. To try to find a way, maybe I'll head up to the shop later and do my live from there. There's rest that's needed here, and balance, especially within the rest. Like, I also want to say there's etheric beings. Somebody's getting visited and then there's sleep. Somebody is like a night warrior, dream warrior, a dream warrior here. When I see this, I can't help, but it's like dogs and a dad or dogs and a grandfather that they're helping to rebuild something. They're sitting in this doorway, this portal. I feel like these energies guard the house too for some of you. These dogs are like bringing a relationship or restoration in some sort of romantic encounter or endeavor. It's like two strangers dancing in the night. And it's like what's meant to be will be. It's finally starting to come back around here. Whatever this is, was made for each other. You know, it's like somebody's been out seeking and waiting for something, and it's like if you're waiting for this house finally comes, or this new beginning, this peace, this culmination, like this most authentic, as you move into this more authentic aspect of yourself. Queen of Pentacles that comes out with the Ten of Pentacles. I would say in your current energy, there might be money coming that you haven't seen, or that is coming into balance for you. Keep balance and keep going. It's like, keep going. You're there. You might feel like you're still out here searching for purpose and trying to put things in, but it's like step into that heart space so that most authentic aspect of yourself can come through. There's deep pain here and a heartache that somebody's going through that really could have to be doing with some sort of home, or somebody having options within that home. I think truly what it is somebody could have an issue with alcohol or drinking too much, or that could be what's being restored, some sort of healing, you know, whatever this is. I hope you see the truth. I hope you feel it in your heart too. You know, and I think somebody is very emotional at this time about whatever this is, this seeking or waiting for something to return. I feel like that there is an emotional healing that comes through over a very intense heartbreak. You know, I feel like this has already happened, with the 4 swords being out here after the 3, and there is progression here. Choose you, choose your love, choose the emotion, choose the love. You know, use your logic, but choose your emotional intelligence. Your emotional intelligence is very important here. Somebody likes swords, you know, swords and old, I'm hearing canteen, so maybe somebody drinks from a canteen, or canteen is prominent here, but what I meant to say is like those old steel, they drink from different style of cups, whether it's gold, I'm hearing that Tazanite again, so certain minerals that they drink out of in cups. Really interesting. There's a new beginning here, and there's a message of a new beginning here. A child could be bringing a message, or a child within this home is like a messenger. They have very 1221 as I say that. They have some sort of magical abilities. You know, you could think you're on this whole spiritual awakening, and your kid is the one that's like, they hold this, there's this portal for you. I'm also hearing seance, or being able to, they talk with the angels. They're very aware of the angelic realm. They play with these angels too, these energies. So it's a very auspicious time in the house space for you. I do think that somebody is going through some sort of loss. I do feel like this guy's on a white horse. In this picture, and white to me is always representative of purity or passed on. So you could have lost a horse, you know, in some way. That could just be something that's transforming you, but there's something about the spirit animal of a horse, you know. Somebody calls on that, the Pegasus. Somebody's also worried about somebody dying or passing away because of something. I'm seeing like sepsis, blood, something in the blood, or something like autoimmune disease, or something that comes through, and they're not. It's saying no. I'm also seeing the name Michelle, okay, when I look at that. And I'm also seeing endings and release. So maybe there's a Michelle here that's ending and releasing something. Maybe that's a warning. Something to do with shamanism and working with a direct descendant here, saying take flight. All right, guys, I'm going to get an angel number. See ya, Claire. See you, Carla, Cozy. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day at work. All right, angel number for the collective, and then I'm going to get off of here. We've got reflect, love, affection, compassion, kindness, attention, and self-love. See, I said auspiciousness. Several impact how you feel. This is a chance to reevaluate your identity. You need a mental shift towards greater optimism, self-assurance, and trust. Put your faith in your gut and your inner voice. Pay attention to your feelings and use them to help you become a better person. There's a lot of evolution here that's happening at this space and time. Group living, a tribe. It's like your tribe's coming back to you. Grandchildren are very prominent here. I'm also seeing like protect your grandchildren. You know, there could be somebody that's like gone through sexual assault or just isn't saying anything in whatever way. They're a victim of something, you know, and I don't know if a grandparent's done something. It's just something that's coming up. Enslavement. You know, somebody's a work slave, a prisoner of war. You know, somebody could have been a prisoner of war, a grandparent. World War comes out. I don't know if somebody's lost their mind and did something, or this is just talking about a war uprising, a revolution of something that comes through here. Maybe somebody that got caught in that earth disaster, because I seen that avalanche or that mudslide here. Prominent military, the infantry. So there's a lesson here about greed, and somebody's insanity is being questioned at this time for their delusions, you know, and disowned. Somebody's being disowned because of their esoteric faith, and maybe somebody here believes in like, arranged marriage. There could be an arranged marriage here with an older woman that's in this current lifetime, maybe somebody from Russia. I do see betrayal that comes through there with the lesson of overcoming fear for some of you. Somebody is very magical with their hands. They have a lot of energy. I feel like through the collective there's a lot of old school remedies, and I'm laughing because I'm seeing a lot of like, they would call us witches for the things that we're able to do or tap into or see, but somebody definitely does something with their hands, whether it's healing, touching another person, energy, whether they're doing this through Reiki, movies and time and connecting. the clap and moves energy and releasing. I love you guys. Take care, and I hope everybody has an awesome weekend. Kisses from Idaho.